is back to the drawing board for former South African President Jacob Zuma. The High Court in Pietermaritzburg dismissed his application to have prosecutor Billy Downer removed from his case. Judge Piet Koen ruled that Downer could continue with the prosecution against Zuma. The former president had argued that Downer had a long-standing bias against him. He also accused the prosecutor of leaking his medical records. But Judge Piet Koen said the prosecutor does not necessarily have to be impartial to ensure a fair trial. Now, joining me now live from Pietermaritzburg is South African journalist and editor Diane Hawker. Good to see you, Diane. Now, Mr. Zuma was initially not expected to appear in court, but he made a surprise appearance. What was his condition like?
Yes, absolutely, Suleiman. All the journalists who were attending the court proceedings were actually surprised when we got a notice at around 8:30 that the former president would actually be appearing in court. And then there was a sudden flurry of activity trying to see where he would be coming in. He came with a large contingent of bodyguards, probably more than 10 bodyguards who surrounded him. And he looked like he was in relatively good spirits, although he was walking quite slowly. He entered the court building, greeting some people who were standing in the corridors, also surprised to see him in court. And I suppose that he attended today, according to his spokesperson, because he felt that he was in a healthy enough state to come to court. Of course, it was also an important ruling for his case, so most likely he would have wanted to see that firsthand.
Was he able to give his reasons why he wanted Judge Piet Koen removed from that case?
Well, the reasons that he didn't want the judge removed from the case, he was asking for the prosecutor
the prosecutor.
Be removed. Yes. The arguments were dealt with a few weeks ago, and today's proceedings were essentially just the judgment on those arguments. What we previously heard is from the legal team, the Zuma legal team, is that they felt that the prosecutor had taken a stance against the former president, which they felt was a bias towards him, that he was sort of gunning for him and trying to ensure that he went to jail at all costs. And they also accused him of some unethical practices, such as leaking the documents, as well as claiming that he was in cahoots with other political players in the country, saying that it was a political prosecution. However, Judge Piet Koen looked at that information, as well as the state's argument and other legal precedents that were set prior. And he actually found that when it comes to the question of a fair trial, there are other factors that come into play, as well as, the role of the judge, ensuring that there's balance in the proceedings. And he said he found that it was important for the court as a whole to actually ensure that the proceedings are fair, not necessarily for the prosecutor to be impartial.
So have you been able to gauge the mood of the National Prosecuting Authority following the outcome?
Yes, absolutely. The spokesperson for the National Prosecuting Authority was present at court, and he actually indicated that the NPA was very happy with this outcome. He said that it was paving the way for them to actually continue with this trial. We know that the Zuma case has continued now for much longer than a decade. And in fact, there's another co-accused, which is the company Thales, who has been waiting in the wings for its day in court while all of these proceedings kind of go on a stop-start basis. So the prosecution as well as Thales are quite keen to have the case begin and actually go ahead.
Any comment yet from Mr. Zuma's team?
Yes, the foundation spokesperson, Mr. Mzwanele Manyi, was also at court today, and he indicated that the former president is possibly going to appeal this. He said the foundation is going to encourage him to appeal. So that's likely to actually see another delay take place in this case if he does in fact appeal the matter. He felt that the ruling was unfair to the former president, even though Judge Judge Piet Koen's ruling is more than 100 pages long and actually contains quite a lot of detail as to, why he's come to that decision. And he referenced, other case law. So we'll have to see how that appeal unfolds in the next few weeks. But the Zuma team is definitely considering taking this decision on appeal.
Well, it looks like the case has been postponed for trial, and perhaps what are we likely to see next?
Well, as indicated by the court, the 11th of April is the next court date. Incidentally, one of the Zuma supporters actually pointed out that the 12th of April is going to be the former president's 80th birthday. So it will be quite interesting to see him actually appearing in court just a day before he turns 80. But his lawyers have also suggested that there would be an interlocutory application brought at some point, possibly just before the 11th of April, and that could be that appeal application that they want to bring. They would ordinarily have to first file for leave to appeal at the High Court before going to the Supreme Court of Appeal. And if the High Court grants leave to appeal, then they would be able to go to the High Court.
Well, Diane Hawke,
to the Supreme Court of Appeal.
All right then, Diane, many thanks for unpacking this for us.